There are a few common mistakes. That's why everybody thinks meetings are boring and useless. Let's look at them. Usually, we associate meetings with taking up a lot of unnecessary time. Calculating that you spend more than 3 meetings a day, probably taking up to 3 hours of your day, and you think about how much that would cost in regards of your salary, how much money does a company waste on people who are in meetings that are unproductive and they don't pay attention to? Also, have you ever been in meetings where one participant just babbles on and talks and talks and talks and just never gives up and completely dominates the meeting? Again, what does that do to everybody else around them? They just get very tired and very frustrated. But there's no one who makes the person stop, especially if it's the boss. Another common mistake about meetings is to permit the meeting to be a one-way dialogue. It's somebody's calling the meeting and they think they have now the floor and they just continue to talk at you and not with you. If you want to talk at someone, which I don't recommend anyway, why call a meeting? You might as well just pick up the phone and tell what you have to say and hang it up again. But why do you gather people to come and talk and have a meeting? Let's say that you have had the meeting and everybody finally is allowed to leave the room. Have you ever gone back and you found out that you have left items discussed with no completion date or action plan? So you're basically still at the same place where you are again, and you have to recall everybody just to make sure that everybody knows what they're doing, by when they have to do it, and creating an action plan and some kind of execution. Another common mistake of meetings is that people come in with a preconceived conception of, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to get, and they completely reject any kind of ideas, wacky ideas, which means crazy ideas, unusual ideas, or creative ideas without a second thought, because they're so focused on what they want to accomplish that they don't even listen for input that anybody can give them.